Stephanie, and Lucy's here. She just had to have some attention as usual. You say hi to your fans? No? She's a little cranky today. So today I want to bring you my December TBR, and I am so excited for this because I am participating in a new to me readathon. So this is the Reindeer Games Readathon, and it's being hosted by Jessie May and her book club Shelf Space in their Discord server. All the participants are placed into teams, and the teams are named after famous Christmas characters. So I am on Team Frosty the Snowman, and I'm very competitive. And my TBR is really overly ambitious, but I want to win. Like, I want my team to win. So we'll see. But there are 12 prompts, and you cannot double up on challenges. So one book per prompt. For every 100 pages we read, we get points. And for every book we finish, we get points. So I am so jazzed. So let's just jump right in. The first prompt is Christmas tree, read a book set in a forest. So for that I chose The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. This is book 1 in the Winter Night trilogy. And I don't know too much about this. I have started it before and put it down because the audiobook wasn't really vibing with me. But I believe it's Russian inspired, and I believe the main character can speak with demons, if I remember correctly. But I love anything Russian inspired, and this sounds so good, and everybody raves about it. The next prompt is Santa's Elves. Read a book with elves, fae, or other magical beings. And for that, I'm going to read Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. This is the 4th book in the Stormlight Archives. I got a signed edition. So for the magical beings, I'm counting Spren, and I don't want to spoil anything, but I believe those count. If you've read this series, let me know. I may have to change it up. But since I did start this in November, I've already read about 100 pages, so when I turn in my points, I'll just subtract 100 pages from my total page count to keep it fair and honest. But I'm so excited, and I know this is going to be so good. I'm loving it so far. Next is Christmas Lights. Read a book with red or green on the cover, and for that I chose Dune by Frank Herbert. So Leslie's Discord is reading this, and there's also kind of an informal buddy read in the Shelf Space Discord for this as well. And I don't really know that much about it. I've never read this before, and I kind of want to go into it blind because this book is so hyped up. I don't want to disappoint myself, but I've started getting into sci-fi more this year, so I'm really excited to read this and see how I like it. And it'll be really nice to read it with a bunch of other people, some of whom have read it and some haven't. So I think it'll be a really interesting discussion whether or not I like the book. Next is Naughty List. Read a book with an unlikable protagonist. And for this I chose A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. It's probably his most famous novella, and I read it every year since I don't even remember when. I love Dickens, and A Christmas Carol is one of my favorite of his works. The unlikable protagonist is Ebenezer Scrooge, and it's kind of my personal tradition to read or listen to the book and then watch the movie Scrooge with Albert Finney, which is the best version, by the way. And so I'm really excited to jump back into it and reread it. There's just something about it to me that's just so timeless, and it just makes me happy reading it. And I love the message of hope and change that it brings. Next is Christmas Caroling Read and Own Voices novel. And for that, I chose Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. My book club, the Space Sirens, which I host with a ton of other amazing people, is reading this for the month of November. So I'm a little behind. Our live show is December 5th, so I'll leave that info down below. It's inspired by the pre-Columbian Americas, and all I really know about it is that it has celestial prophecies, political intrigue, and magic. And I've heard really good reviews for this, and then I've heard I really like this, but I have a lot of thoughts. So I'm really interested to see where I fall on the spectrum. But either way, isn't this cover just gorgeous? Next is Family Holiday Time. Participate in a shelf space buddy read. And for that, I'm going to read Promise of Blood by Brian McClellan. It's the first book in the Powder Mage trilogy, and that is the official buddy read for the Shelf Space Discord. And I actually started it today. So far, I'm liking it okay. There are a lot of characters, and basically in this world, I believe they kind of snort gunpowder like cocaine. So this is definitely different than anything I've read, and we'll see how it goes. I'm keeping an open mind. Next is Homemade Present, read a self-published book. I chose The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang, and I'm really excited about this. My friend Angela absolutely adored this book, and she's been raving about it. And then Jade also really enjoyed it, and so I think I'm going to like it. And I've heard that this is going to break my heart and make me sob, and I am so prepared for it. I don't know that much about it. I don't want to know that much about it. I'm assuming maybe there's some kind of military thing going on, and I think it also deals with family. But we'll see. But either way, I'm really excited, and I think it's going to be fantastic. Next is Stocking Stuffer, read a novella or short story collection. And for that, I chose All System Red by Martha Wells. This is the first book in the Murderbot series. I believe it has something to do with AI and reality TV, and the AI is kind of snarky, which I'm totally here for. So, but it's only 144 pages, and the audiobook is only 3.5-ish hours long. So I think it'll be a really nice palate cleanser between all these huge fantasy books. Next is He Sees You When You're Sleeping. Read a thriller, horror, or suspense book. For that, I chose the graphic novel Lock and Key, Volume 1. Haven't read any of these before, and since they're graphic novels, I didn't really want to look up a synopsis because I really didn't want to be spoiled for anything. But a few people have told me that these are really good, so I think I'm going to have a good experience with it. Next is Checking It Twice. Reread a book you've read, previously DNF'd, did not finish, or took a break from. And for that, I chose Arusha and the Tree of Wishes by Roshni Chokshi. This is book 3 in the Pandava series. And once again, it's signed. I love Roshni Chokshi. Her writing is just beautiful. I started this when I got it, and then things happened this year, and then I got caught up in the Stormalong 2020 read-along, and I just put this down and never picked it back up. It wasn't because I didn't like it, but I've read the first 2 books in this series, and Arusha is a middle grade character, and she lies and tends to get caught in her lies, and also gets caught in just all sorts of shenanigans, and it's always such a fun time. I love the mythology woven throughout the story. It's just so well done. Next is We Three Kings. Read a book with a crown on it, on the cover or in the title. So I actually have two choices for this. It just depends on how much I get to this month. But the first option is The Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien. And while this does not have a crown on it, my audiobook copy, the cover does have a crown. And I've been listening to these on audio, so I'm going to count it. Hopefully that's okay. But I've read the series I don't know how many times, and I love it. And I'm currently in the middle of The Two Towers now, and I'm so excited to read Return of the King. I haven't read it in maybe 5 years, but it's one of my all-time favorite series. The other option is Seven Devils by Laura Lamb. This is my book club's pick for our December read, and all I know is that it's a sci-fi novel, but one of the characters on the cover has a crown. It looks like it's going to be really good, and I'm excited to read more sci-fi. And finally, Under the Mistletoe, read a book with a romance in it. For that, I'm going to read Anne of Ingleside by Ellen Montgomery. This is the 6th book in the Anne series. And this is actually an extremely old copy that I got from my grandmother, 1939. So I think this was hers when she was little, which it's actually in pretty good condition. But I love this series so much. In this one, Anne is married and she's kind of going through a crisis where she thinks her husband doesn't love her anymore. I've read it before. It's probably been 10 plus years. And I've been slowly making my way through the Anne of Green Gables series this year. So it's definitely time to pick up the next one in the series, and I know it will be fantastic. I also have 2 other books or collections of stories that I want to read this month. The first is The Deal of a Lifetime by Frederick Bachman. I have not read anything by him, but this is one of the picks for Murphy Napier's Discord or Patreon, and it's a really short story, so I don't want to look up what it's about, but I know it has to do with Christmas, and I think it'll be good. It's really short, so I think I'll be able to fit it in. I think the audiobook is a little bit less than an hour long. But the other one is A Very Russian Christmas, and that is part of the Very Foreign Christmas series that Codex Cantina is hosting. And Christy Lewis is one of the hosts for Very Russian Christmas. And basically, they have a schedule where on certain dates, Christy Lewis and the Codex Cantina discuss different short stories by Russian authors from the book A Very Russian Christmas, and I think it'll be great. I love that Christy loves Russian literature because before BookTube, I didn't really know anyone else who liked Russian literature except for one other person. So I'm very excited. And honestly, this TBR can totally change. I changed this list probably 4 times before I filmed this. But I think December is going to be a great month. You Know Who is going to be out next year. So as soon as I heard that news, the year started looking up. Because honestly, this year has been a struggle for me, just mental health wise. So for December, I just really wanted to read a bunch of fantasy books and Christmassy books and Russian literature, and I think it's just going to be great. And keeping on that positive note, my team is definitely going to give you guys a run for your money. I'm hoping we win. I'm going to do my best. So for page count for the Reindeer Games Readathon, if I read all these books and don't change anything, I will get about 5,397 points. And I've read that much or more most months this year, so I know I can do it. It just depends on what December throws at me. But I'm hopefully optimistic. So, are you participating in the Reindeer Games Readathon, or are you participating in another readathon? And if you've read any of these books or you're wanting to read any of these books, please let me know. I love to talk to you guys about what you're reading. Or if you just want to let me know you're here but you don't really have anything to say, just drop an emoji down below, preferably a Christmas tree or a snowflake, since it is, in my mind, winter. As always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button if you'd like. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.